Hey everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing another video, and this time it is about the television show The Walking Dead. Now, I've been watching The Walking Dead pretty much for about the last 5, 6 years. I was a little late to it. I saw the first season around 6 years ago. Really liked it. Eventually, I got Netflix and I started watching the seasons, and I started watching them as it came out on like Russian or Czech bootleg TV, whatever you want to call it, sites. And then I started buying the episodes from iTunes and stuff. So I've been watching for a long time. So I also have bought a lot of the comics and stuff, and as you might already know, I'm a big comic fan. Walking Dead isn't my favorite comic. My favorite comic of all time is Hellblazer, uh, because John Constantine, or Constantine, as he's supposed to be called, but most people call him John Constantine for whatever reason, is my favorite comic book character. My favorite, just I think he's just a genius character. I actually play him in a role playing game too. It's really fun to play him and do a bad British accent. But anyways, why did I call this video Walking Dead is done? Well, spoiler alert, I really think that anything now would be just a repetition as far as the new seasons of just the same old thing over and over again. It's lacking in quality that it used to have. The acting is getting really cheesy. Now, the irony is that this current season has been the best season to me since at least five, because the last two seasons, seven and was it 6 and 7, I thought were just pretty hit or miss. I mean, there were some good episodes. The episode where they killed Glenn and some of the episodes associated with that were pretty good. Where Negan kills Glenn, and then there were some other good ones, and there were some just terrible slow ones. Just I don't know, when they go to that, what is that, Oceanside? Tara goes to the Oceanside was one of the worst episodes. It seems just like, what? This boring. This is all opinion, but I'm just saying, like, I think anything now is just they've jumped the shark, or they've jumped the dumpster, so to speak, because that was the episode where Glenn goes under the dumpster was kind of that moment where, and then it was like a cliffhanger, and then they resolved it. That was one of those moments was just like totally implausible. Now, I have my problems with the implausibility of The Walking Dead. Now, I try to set that aside because it's a piece of fiction, and there's always every piece of fiction pretty much is uh, implausible in many ways, but they just kind of become ridiculous. So recently, though, the last episode, and I know this video is a little bit late because this is kind of after the fact, and I could have done this a little earlier, but been very busy, so I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this, in the near future. But right now, I'm doing this because I'm a little bit late, but it's not too bad. It's not the season hasn't started. It's only been about a week and a couple days or whatever. So, what happened in the last episode? Well, the guy that Robert Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead, has said is what the story is about and what he thinks that the narrative is leading towards, got killed, or he's about to be killed because he is going to be turned into a zombie because he got bit. So when I saw that, I was like, well, this is. I knew this was going to happen. I read the spoilers. There were so many rumors going around about this happening, but as soon as it happened, it was somewhat of a shock, but not really. I knew when I read a lot of spoiler sites. I don't know why I'm into the spoiler thing, but I even know what happens in the new Star Wars. Of course, I'm not going to spoil it, and I haven't seen it yet, but I already know. And I'm probably gonna disavow myself from that as well because it's just I'm just like, come on, man. And I've heard some bad things about it. I'll see it, but I'm disappointed that certain things have taken place. And I'm not going to give away any more spoilers than that. But the reasons for me watching The Walking Dead, I like zombie stuff. I've liked zombie films and movies or films and TV shows since I was a kid because one of my good friends, uh, showed me, some of the Romero stuff and then Dead Alive, and I've just been a fan of that for a long time. So, Walking Dead, I like that as well, or I did, but it just becomes so cliche and so ridiculous now and so implausible. I mean, just some of the stuff that happens, like the dumpster scene with Glenn, and just this whole thing with okay, I'm gonna name him. The spoiler alert: Carl getting bit was just the last straw. I'm just there's petitions to bring him back. I'm just like, they're not going to bring him back. How could they bring him back now? There's even rumors that he's not going away from the show. But I was never a big fan of the character on the show, the TV show. But the fact that he was so important to the narrative of the whole story, according to the creator, and how that was beginning to be reflected in a show, just proves to me that they don't give a shit about the story anymore. They just want to, shit on the story. It's just whatever shocks people the most or whatever. And that just ties into this whole outrage culture that we live in. It's like, oh my God, what would be shocking is, the most shocking thing of all in this TV show. It's just to get ratings. And it's just like, oh my God. So I'm done with watching The Walking Dead. The irony is that I'm probably going to be watching Fear the Walking Dead because, for one, it's probably just as shitty of a show in some ways. I don't know. I mean, it's implausible. There's ridiculous stuff, but there's been some promise on that. There was that episode. God, I don't remember the character's name. There's been episodes where they've shown some depth to it. That has been missing from the regular Walking Dead show for a while, or at least most of the time. There are some good episodes. The episode with Morgan a season or two ago where he's with his mentor or teacher or whatever had a little martial arts kind of spiritual aspect to it. I really enjoyed that. I thought that could have been a full-length movie, and it basically was, but I forgot the name of the episode. But that was the last episode I really loved on The Walking Dead. And for The Walking Dead, they've had some good stuff, the political intrigue and stuff, and just these little things that happen. I kind of like that, and I'll keep watching that because it's a TV show. It's not based on anything to be disappointed about. So it's fresh. But as far as watching The Walking Dead, I'm done. I mean, it's a sinking ship with the CGI shit. Some of that deer last season, this deer comes out. The stupid garbage people that can't talk like it's been like a post-apocalyptic wasteland for 50 years and lost their grasp of English, even though it's only been 2 years in the show since the apocalypse. It's like, and the fact, and I'm sorry to say this, but they're still driving cars when gas would have been dried up a year a year and a half ago in the show's, trajectory. That's what would have happened. I don't mean the show itself. On the show, the time the show is still supposed to take place. So I'm done with The Walking Dead. I think The Walking Dead is done as far as any new surprises or any good television or narratives. I mean, it's just, people blame Scott Gimple. I just blame it's a corporate fucking, entity it's like Star Wars. Star Wars, the first 3 movies were really good. It was this huge behemoth of corporate merchandising and stuff. And Walking Dead became that, but eventually those things jumped the shark. And, a lot of people think that Star Wars jumped the shark with Phantom Menace. And last one was kind of cool. It was nostalgic, but the magic is gone. I mean, the magic, it's just the same old thing over and over again a lot of the time, with these movies or shows. And maybe that makes me less of a nerd. I thought about this. Like, I'd rather go back and read fucking Shakespeare or something, and like, which I haven't, or some 19th century romantic literature or poetry rather than watching this fucking like the Avengers or whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm not. I'm a nerd, but I actually like actual intellectual traditions rather than nerd sort of. I'm just gonna say sort of pseudo intellectual traditions. I love comics, which is obviously more nerdy. I was just thinking about this because sometimes I feel alienated from the nerd aspect of my circle of friends. I feel alienated from the metal aspect of my circle of friends too. I just don't fit anywhere, but I don't give a fuck. I'm unique. I'm an individual. So that makes me less of a metalhead, less of a nerd, less of a whatever. Then so be it. But anyways, that's off on a whole other tangent I didn't mean to bring up. So I'm done with The Walking Dead. I'm not going to watch any more episodes once the break is over as far as the mid-season. And there's other shows to watch. There's other things to do other than watching fucking, television. But I'm done with it. I think people should be like so violently opposed to the producers and stuff. Like, man, I hate you. I hate Scott Gimple. Blah, blah. I don't give a fuck. They're just some corporate fucking television guys that write this shit and try to get ratings, and there's all these demographics. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Go back and read some classic fucking horror novels, or read some actually do something different. Watch some old classic horror movies instead of watching this fucking pop garbage like some of the Walking Dead episodes have been. It's just pop. It's like the fucking Kanye West or New Kids on the Block of fucking horror. It's not Edgar Allan Poe. It's not the fucking Jimi Hendrix or the Rolling Stones or the Iron Maiden of fucking horror. It's the Backstreet Boys. It's the Vanilla Ice, of horror. I mean, but there's, even Vanilla Ice had some like Havanaroni and shit like that, which is really funny. Like anyways, that's all for this video. Please subscribe. Hate me, write me all the sorts of bad shit for dissing on your favorite show, please. Thank you.